everyone. It's Sarah from the Support Worker Store. Today I've got Jack and we're going to talk about two different things, completely different, but so needed in this sector. So, Jack, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, 32-year-old, been in the disability sector for just over 3 years now. Came out of aged care for nearly 10 years, dementia care, palliative care around Wollongong and through New South Wales Health, but realised quite quickly that I wanted to make a bigger difference and see the difference I was making. So, coming into the disability sector as a support worker, then going into kind of a still house manager role, and then joining with Care Done Differently as their BDM.
All right. So
I'm loving it.
you've had a bit of an experience in multiple roles. Because of the experience of your multiple roles, is that why you started up Caffeine Connections?
Caffeine Connections I was ready for it to be a flop. I started it back in January this year, and on the Friday before the first Monday, we held it in the harbour. And I created it as an event on LinkedIn and quickly found out that you can't just base your event off numbers because people see that come into their inbox and they're like, oh, I'll click that even if I'm not going to go. And they
Yep.
don't turn up. So I was ready to be a flop. The Friday night before, we had 4 people confirmed attending. And like, look, this isn't going to work. But then turn up on the Monday, we actually had 14 attend. And for me, that's like, wow, okay. And I hadn't really even been building any form of kind of personal brand by then.
Yep.
It was just based off people I'd met at, other networking events or in the community that I knew through New South Wales Health or through aged care. But Caffeine Connections, I saw a gap in the not into the wider NDIS market, but the Wollongong market. We had a lot of things for BDMs, and keep in mind back then I was a community engagement an events coordinator. So there was a gap in the market for just anybody. We have BDM think tanks, we have support coordination meetings, we have all those sort of meetings, but we didn't have an all inclusive meeting where it was casual, relaxed, stress free, no BS, come in, have a coffee, and have a chat. If you made a connection, awesome. If you walked away with a networking friend that you collaborate with 6 months down the track, even better. But it's a no obligation way to connect with people in your community in a open environment. And kind of we made it Monday to get rid of that Monday-itis. So
Yep.
everyone kind of rallied around that, which was really good.
All right. So the idea pretty much started because you wanted to open some doors and connect with people. How did you come up with the name Caffeine Connections?
I, like many, start my day with a coffee. It doesn't really, my day flows a lot better if I've had a coffee, especially when I'm connecting with people because, I love to get outdoors and I'd rather work outdoors than in an office. And if I can do that whilst connecting, doing something I love with a decent coffee in my hand, it's going to go a lot better for everybody.
So what is your coffee of choice?
My coffee of choice is a a caramel cappuccino.
Yep.
Everyone probably listens to that and goes, "Oh my God, sweet!" But yes, it is sweet. But yeah, I can't go off it.
Do you guys have a particular cafe that you hang out with, or do you just spread the love along Wollongong?
When I thought of this, I wanted to do something different from the cafe catch-ups. And so when I first did it in Wollongong, it was at Wollongong Harbour. We just chose to start it at a point where there was a cafe. So a time that everyone meet there, they get a coffee from that cafe, and then we move along. We go for a walk. And I've kind of, especially in the summer, in the warmer months, we kind of do, Wollongong Botanical Gardens. If Southern Sydney, we do Mount Annan Botanical Gardens, so the Australian Botanical Gardens. There's a cafe there, but we have it on the lakeside lawn, so really nice setting. Everyone brings a plate, and it's really, really communal. In Penrith, it was a lot harder because I'm obviously out of the area to find somewhere that was public. So, because we started it coming into those cooler months, Emu Hall Bar and Kitchen was like I had been there before, and the coffee is top notch. So that was a no brainer for us, and it's proven to be quite a nice spot to have that coffee connections as well.
I find when you have a coffee and you sit down and you talk to someone, it's much more relaxed instead of going. Sometimes when you go to expos, it can be quite overwhelming because there's these big tables with all this stuff on it and all this advertisement. And
Mhm.
sometimes I have to take a step back and go, oh God, how is somebody going to make sure that how am I going to be heard here in a way that, is
Yeah.
respectful and, turn taking and all sorts of stuff. Have you noticed a difference between the two?
Look, I love the both. I love the networking events that I do attend, and I do love how they are set up because they have their purpose. With Caffeine Connections, there's no you must talk to that person.
Yeah.
It's if you want to have a chat, go and have a chat.
Yeah.
It's if you've already spoken to somebody, that's fine. You don't need to reconnect with them if you don't want to. Go and speak to the person you haven't met before. There are business card exchanges, but it's not you don't need to do it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a group of people that haven't seen each other for a long time coming to reconnect and they're throwing about 4 or 5 new faces each time.
Yeah.
So there's not a necessity to talk to everybody. If you don't talk to everybody, that's fine.
Yeah.
Come the next month and you'll probably speak to them again. There is a difference between the two. I don't prefer either one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be biased and say I love Caffeine Connections over any other networking event I go
Yeah.
to because every networking event I go to serves a purpose and
Yeah.
it's different purpose each time.
So every time you go to one of your coffee connections with your
Mhm.
purpose, are you very particular before you turn up that I have a purpose to meet with A, B, and C and discuss the following business ideas and opportunities, or are you taken by surprise?
Normally taken by surprise. Look, we have our regulars, but even so, we had Caffeine Connections today in Wollongong, and we had our regulars come in,
Yeah.
and we had a few new people come in. One that I'd met before that I hadn't seen for a couple of months, and then quite a few that had either friended me on LinkedIn, or Instagram that came for the very first time. And I spent a lot more time speaking to the people that I hadn't met before
Yeah.
rather than the people that I had met before because look, at the end of the day, I do Caffeine Connections. I don't make money out of it. We don't make anything out of it. Obviously, we're there representing Cairn differently, but I'm there to make connections. I'm there to collaborate. I'm there to offer our services if needed. I'm not going in there offering a 30-second elevator pitch.
Yep.
I'm going in there giving my genuine self. I'm there to offer advice, or if someone needs a connection, I'm more than happy to connect people. But I'm not there to make anything out of it. I'm there to, and everyone else is, they're there to collaborate and connect, and they're genuinely there to connect, do that sort of thing
Is
too.
it
So
a successful day to get another coffee connection off somebody after you've had your chat here in a group environment to be able to go off with somebody individually and have a bit more of a depthful conversation about where a opportunity could lead?
absolutely, like as I said, there's no obligations to do anything out of it. I always say just because the networking event finishes doesn't mean the networking finishes. So
Yeah.
you know, if someone goes out and then follows up on the networking connection they've made at Caffeine Connections, I've done my job. That's the purpose of these events and these meetings.
The next part is totally off track, but I'm from Melbourne, so we suffered a really big COVID epidemic. I don't know if you did.
Hmm.
So when it came to personal hygiene and all sorts of things, and I was debating this the other day about how do you give somebody a business card? And I know this is off topic, and you might not be up for this, but do you have a particular way that you give another person a business card? Do you like the hand it to? Are you the slide along the desk, like, the table? Are you the cool type? Like, how do you give a business card? And I know this is incredibly off topic, but I was just curious.
No, but it's so right though, because so many people do it differently. Well, so myself and my boss Hannah, we've just gone to the electronic business cards.
Yep,
So it's a tap on the back of your phone.
yep,
And because some people haven't really, or that they aren't aware of that technology yet. So I had a business card holder that, it's leather on the outside, you flip it open and
yep,
but now I've only got the metal business card.
yep,
And everyone looks at that. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Where'd you get it? And that sort of
yep.
thing. So that even starts the conversation. No, I'm the, hey, look at this kind of guy. But yeah, everyone does it differently.
It's like I was talking to somebody about when you first meet somebody for the very first time when you're connecting, and you can tell, like I was saying to them, you can tell I'm from Melbourne because I do this awkward thing where I'm like, do I handshake? Do I do the elbow? Do I do the knuckle? Which one am I meant to do? Because it's, especially when you meet somebody for the very first time, you're trying to have like a really good impression on them. This is the part that sucks of
Yeah,
networking and being from Melbourne because I'm just trying to figure out which one is appropriate for this setting.
yeah. Where their mind's at, where they fist pump, they do the elbow bump. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm completely off topic, but I've been
No,
thinking
that's
about it
fine.
for a while because I was like, God, it's so annoying because you're doing something on face judgment, like so you're on face value, like,
Mhm.
all right, this person seems like they would do a handshake, so you go for the handshake, but you end up
Yeah.
with a fist, or that you get, yeah, it's wild out there.
You want to avoid that awkwardness,
I know, and I'm a
They go for the
handshaker.
handshake, you go for the fist pump.
I'm
Yeah.
a shake. I am a handshaker at all places. So this is
Hmm.
like, ever since this is the one thing that COVID has ruined for all of us. I don't know if I can shake your hand or not.
Yep. Or I need to
Sorry.
sanitize before I do.
Yes, they did. Yes, I have seen that. Can you share a moment with Caffeine Connections that was a win, like where you saw somebody have an absolute win for one of their NDIS participants that they serve?
Look, I think for myself, if I can see someone come in and genuinely help somebody else. It happened to me last week in Penrith. We had, and I'm going to name drop here, we had April Hamilton from Alara come in. And this has happened twice now. That she's come in and she's like, "You've got a still in Wollongong." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And she goes, "Oh, have you got vacancies?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." And she goes, "Oh, I've got someone that you need to meet." So that was like, it happens more times than you would think that, someone would come in. It happened today. Jonas Runback from Buildability down here in Wollongong. "I've got a phone number that you need to call. Such and such is looking for such and such. Here's the number, get in contact." And, that happened. I think there was two occasions today that happened. So if I can link two people together that are going to collaborate to make a positive impact in someone's life
Yep.
for their, like, with their care, that's a positive for me. And the more I see that, the more I want to carry on doing what I'm doing.
When you first meet a new person that comes to your coffee connection, do you have like a one liner that you would say when you meet? Is it, "Hi, how are you?" The weather? Like, is there any sort of like little pictures that you put out to get somebody's attention so you can have a conversation? Because it is all down to communication, really, in the end.
Absolutely, it is, and it's first impressions. I think if I'm meeting someone for the first time, I'm a handshaker. It's a firm handshake,
Get along.
and yeah, and you learn a lot from a handshake, especially from a guy. But I'm an Aussie bloke through and through.
Yep.
How I talk is so Aussie, and it's, "Hey, how you going?" I won't change it up. That's exactly how I do it with everybody and anybody. But then it goes down the line of, "Where are you from? What do you
Yep.
do? Where do you service?" That sort of thing.
Yep.
The usual generic, yeah, get to know them.
Sorry, now I'm laughing because a couple of times I'd be like, "Hey, what's cracking?" And people are like, "What?"
Yep, yep. It's
So
it's
it's like
very
I
Aussie
needed
humor.
subtitles underneath me. So, what advice would you give to anybody wanting to come to Coffee Connections for the very first time?
Do it. I use the tagline a lot. Caffeine Connections is networking made easy.
Yeah.
Um, there's none of that. There's no icebreakers. There's no, you know, there's no, "You must do this. You must talk to this person. You must do this." It's, "Hey, we're here. We're usually, if we're not in Wollongong at a cafe, we are in a public area and we're all standing around. If you haven't met somebody, I will introduce you. I'm all for meeting new people. I'm a very outgoing person, so I feel like I can most definitely talk to anybody. But if you don't know somebody, and I know that, I will go up and make sure that by the end of the
Yeah.
time you've left Caffeine Connections, you do know that person.
So, do they
But
need to like go onto the website first to say that they're coming to, or they just turn up at your local?
Let's turn up. I put out, so I used to do the whole event, create the event on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
create a page for it every time. And I did that for about 3 months. And I got to the point where I'm like, this is pointless because, 50 people, like when I first did Penrith,
Yeah.
123, 124 people confirmed they were attending. And I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be huge. And then I think Penrith's first one was, I think we still got about 25. So I've gotten to the point now, I'm just like, I'm just going to post. I'll post about it the week leading up to it. And if I get five, I'm happy. If I get 10, even better. But we average between, either 10 to 20 per event, which is enough for me. That still
Yeah.
makes it intimate. And you've got enough time there to kind of get to know everybody, at least talk to people once, exchange business cards, and kind of start chain reaction into collaboration,
Yeah.
which is what we want.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about care done differently because there's a few people out there. What is a BDM? Because people hear the word BDM and it can be a phrase quite loosely used. So what would you describe
It
is a
is.
BDM?
Look, as you said, it's different for everybody. I think myself, a business development manager for me is we're out there networking, we're connecting, we're building a network around ourselves. I was only telling someone today that someone will buy you before they buy your brand, and you are the first point of contact. And if I don't look approachable, if I'm not a good communicator, if I'm not following up on what I say I do or what I've said I will do, if I'm not fulfilling those promises, it's not going to just reflect badly on me. It's going to reflect badly on Cat on differently. So I'm basically the face of Cat on differently, the face of the company, and most BDMs are.
Yep.
A lot of the connections I have are the face of their company. Before you know the CEO, before you know the rostering manager, the admin manager, you are knowing the BDM. And the BDMs are most likely the people that you are speaking to at network events.
Yep. 100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you had to focus on your social media presence to be your own personal brand?
Personal brand to me, if you'd asked me about personal brand 6 months ago, I would have been like, nah, what's personal brand? Because personal branding, I had a good chat with a well-known figure in our industry, Ian Coker. And Ian kind of pointed me in the direction of you need to build your personal brand. And what was a personal brand? And from that, I think over the last 6 months since joining Cat on Differently, I've taken that with two hands and run with it because you know, personal branding is so important because there's a very big difference between personal branding and professional branding. Where your personal branding, they want to know you, they want to trust you, they want to know you're authentic, they want to know that you're in it for the right reasons. And if you work on those three things, being a BDM becomes pretty easy because people know you. They trust you. So, if as a BDM, you're looking to bring in those referrals, you're looking to bring in that work. So if I trust you, I'm more than happy to refer to you because I trust that you're going to uphold the same care standards as I would,
Yep.
as if I was action that referral. So, if for anybody looking at my LinkedIn, you're going to see a post about, the guy that his mates call him a concrete cowboy. And I am at heart. I love the country music. I love getting out to a rodeo. I love doing that sort of stuff. And,
Yep.
it's kind of behind the button-up shirt, behind the jeans and boots. It's me. It's authentically me.
Yep. People buy from people.
Personal branding is huge.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And if you're seen to be authentic, you're seen to be living up to what you say you do, and people believe in you, you don't need much more for a personal brand.
I have
A
gone
personal
down
brand does
this,
the work.
yeah, I've had to go down this track in my company so people could actually know my company, if that makes any sense. So I've really had to work very hard on turning up and turning up in events, turning up at work, but also turning up online as well. So there's multiple places that I have to turn up. And I know that for me, when it came to personal branding, I had to get really smart with my time and had to put things in place so I could turn up in multiple places being only Sarah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
difficult. It's not easy, but it is worth it because I believe that connections do happen that way. Like people do seem to reach out to me for the support worker store to get onto podcasts like this and to do things where we can collaborate and have communication and work together. Like I 100% agree on that.
Yeah. And I think, with your personal brand, I think everyone's in this industry to, provide the best care that they can.
Yeah.
And at some points, we're only human. Some days sometimes we can't always do that. But having a strong personal brand and having a strong connection network,
Yeah.
we always will know someone who can. So I guess that, being out there, being face to face rather than a cold email or a cold phone call builds that trust and allows you to do what we're all here to do, which is, provide the best care we can.
Yes. And I was talking to somebody about networking. When it came to networking with people, if you touch my soul in some sort of way, and I will remember you, and I've got a very good memory. So sometimes it won't be I refer you the next day. It might be a month. It might be 6 months. It might be a year. It's because I remember the reason why you're in this sector, the services that you do, and why, because when you're referring, you're also referring your brand as well, because it's your brand on the line saying that person's a good sort. They provide really good care, and they go above and beyond and provide.
Correct. Correct. And this is where there's different strategies that I use when when networking. I've got, especially if I've gone to a networking event and I come home with a stack of business cards. It's always trying to remember. Okay, that was that person. That was that person. That was that person. You manage those differently. So like I'll come home, I'll type. I've got a spreadsheet and I'll add different people into different categories. OT, light health, core services, that sort of thing, and I'll always put a little comment next to their name or on their business card, spoke about blah, 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 or
Yeah.
is interested in blah, blah, blah. So you manage that way. You can never go wrong.
And you're right, because there's times that I've left events and I've got like a stack this big and I'm trying to remember who's who in the zoo.
Mhm.
And especially if there were two people at
Yeah,
the table and they're both female and I'm trying to figure out which one's which. And I'm terrible with names, but I can remember a damn good story.
exactly right.
So with care done differently, what type of support services do they offer to the community?
So we offer sport coordination, offer community access, community nursing, assisted living, but we also offer SIL now in Wollongong, which has just kicked off. That was about 2 months ago that we opened our first SIL. But we also offer Auslan services, which is quite different because not a lot of providers do offer that. But yeah, other than that, on the side we obviously have Caffeine Connections as well.
Yep.
But yeah, we kind of keep it that small core services because
Yeah.
that's what we do well. We don't want to have those massive plethora of services that, we're registered for, but
Do a
we're
half
not
job.
known
Yeah.
for doing well. And that's where when Hannah first started Care Done Differently, it was we have these 4 services or 5 services that we offer, and we offer them damn well.
Yeah.
So
All right. So
we'd much rather be known to do that.
the great thing about what you do when it comes to networking, there is a way to network with support coordinators. And I would like to know if this trick works for you, like it works for me.
Mhm,
You ready for this one? When it comes to
mhm.
support coordinators, I never pitch my business. I ask all the tough questions about their business and my aim is to find their pain points and figure out whether I can serve them or not.
I absolutely agree. I tailor my pitch to each person. If you're coming, say, if I'm at a networking event
Yep.
and I'm approaching you and you're a support coordinator, I will ask you, so what are you finding difficult? What service are you finding difficult
Yep.
to obtain? And then, hook, line, and sinker, if they're like, hey, we need, CP or we need SIL housing in Wollongong, awesome. We can definitely help with that. It kind of, you get to know, and each that's not just the support coordinators either.
Yep.
If you're a core provider, it's definitely different pitch or a different conversation. But that's where it comes into being authentic as well.
Yep.
You're not a robot. You don't want to come across as robotic because, as you said before, people remember it.
And I like a bit of humor too. Being funny goes a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like you can't miss me. I'm 6 foot 2, big beard, bald head, tattoos. You can't miss me. So
It's fine. You
kind of
can't
helps
miss
to
me
crack a
because I
joke
wear
every
a
now
lot
and
of
then.
colors and I wear big chunky boots,
Yeah.
so I could actually be 1 foot. Sorry. I um
No.
so the seal houses, was this something that
Mhm.
you guys always had a like want to do, or was this something that came up just purely naturally because you had people that you're providing care for that do needed a place to live?
I think for us, it was I have a bit of still background from a previous provider, and I think it was just a part when we saw an opportunity to make a difference. Obviously, it's in our name, Care Done Differently. So I think it was an opportunity that we saw to make a difference. And we had, through connections, we had a support coordinator reach out and said, hey, look, do you have SIL? Are you looking at providing SIL? And it was a conversation that we had as a business. And we're like, look, let's give it a shot. Let's go for it. We also understood the the what surrounded it and what was needed. But we're 2 months in or 2.5 months in, and we're going great. We're also looking for other SIL participants, but we're going good.
That's really hard, to be honest. Like
It is.
for some reason, no one really talks about that part, but it's really hard to make sure that you've got people that want to live together in a home environment together, and how to
Correct.
support people to live together to be able to make these decisions. Is there a process for you guys that when you're looking for another person to come live at the Seal House in a new home environment, do you have a way to find somebody to make sure that they match in?
It's difficult because you want to match the right participants with the right participants. I think the worst thing you can do is just put anybody and anyone in a house and think it's going to work. And you see it so much with male and female in the same house, especially when those people have conflicting backgrounds.
And if you've never
I
lived with a
think for
male, it's
us,
really hard.
it is, and
I'm sure you'd say the
um,
same.
it is. It's like it gets to a point where it's like a family, network where, you got your brother and your sister and they're gonna fight.
Yep.
If they have differing hobbies or differing likes and dislikes, they're gonna
Yep.
argue and they're gonna fight. So the obviously the matchmaking process is so needed because the last thing I want, and I've said this to Hannah before, the last thing I want is to get a phone call at 10:30 at night from a participant going, "Oh my God, they're scratching each other's eyes out, they're slapping
Yep.
each other, they're cursing, blah blah blah." So I think with us at the moment, like we're going through the process now. We're matching the participant with a participant. So,
Yep.
and we've had participants come in and it just wasn't a fit. So
Yep.
that's when the networking comes in and goes, okay, I can't help you, but I know someone who can. And that's, you've got it. We're in this for the same reasons, and collaboration is key. So if I can't help you, I know someone who can.
Yep. I feel like you're the
But
perfect person.
matchmaking is just, yeah.
I think you're the perfect person to ask this because you have a background in housing and accommodation for people with disabilities.
Mhm,
As a support worker coming into a house,
mhm.
what tips would you give to a support worker coming into a SEAL house for the very first time?
Be very open-minded. If you have outside drama, leave it in your glove box. Come into the house,
Yeah.
do your job. If you haven't done it before, I'm hoping you're on a buddy shift and treat your clients or participants with the same respect you would want if you were in their shoes.
Yeah.
The last thing, one of my pet peeves is seeing a support worker or a boss treat their participants or client any differently than they would treat their own kids or their own
Yeah.
support worker. Because it's horrible and it stands out. It honestly does. And I've seen it and it's not pretty.
Yes, I agree 100% because it's obvious. It is, and it gives
It
the whole
is.
house a different culture that you don't want because you want a culture of a house
Yeah.
where people speak up, feel comfortable because a house really should be a home. And we want people to have homes, not
Mm.
houses, and we want them to be together for decades, not for a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
So it is making
Yeah,
sure that
and
you
that's
get that
that's
right.
one thing, absolutely, and that's one thing that we have set out to do. We're making homes. We're not making group homes. We're making homes. Like when you come into a still home, even as a staff member, you're walking into someone's home. That's not your work.
Yeah.
That's their home. So if you can get into that mindset, knock at the door, don't just walk in. Knock at the front door or ring the doorbell. Then once they
Yeah.
answer, walk in. Don't sit up there on your phone. I hate it. Don't sit there on your phone and not engage with the client.
Yeah.
If you need to be on the phone, make it a damn good reason first.
Yeah.
But, that can wait. You are there to engage with the client. You're there to, help build their independence, not diminish it by sitting on your phone and hope that they know what they need to do.
Was talking about this to somebody the other day that seal housing is actually quite difficult for support workers because there's this territory of creating cliques within a seal house when it comes to support workers and not when it and when
Mhm.
yeah, you're smiling because you know what I It's
Yep.
true. I honestly do. I feel like it's true. And it's really at times really difficult to manage because we want to make sure that
Mm.
we got the right team in place, right? We got everybody that is turning up is going to do well by that person, but people get comfortable and staff get comfortable. Is it?
Yes.
We do because we get so comfortable working in this environment. It doesn't feel like work anymore.
Yeah, look, I've seen it now with Kettle differently. Staff do get comfortable, and it's to the point where, you do need to be that tough cop or that bad cop.
Yeah.
And people get to the point where it's so comfortable because, you might be in a house that's not, high dependent house where you're only there to assist with cooking or, assist with grocery shopping or, you're only there for a drop-in service but I think everyone needs to understand that they are there still getting paid to do a job. And the moment you get complacent, it stands out because 9 times out of 10, there is that one staff member that goes in there and busts their absolute ass
It's all right to swear.
every
I'm from
time.
the West. It's okay.
Very good. Yeah, bust their ass every
Yeah.
time. And they are the people that will report back to management going, Oi, why is it always on me? And it happens. And I see it every day.
Yeah.
So you're going to get caught out.
Yeah.
It's when you've only got the couple of sills and you've only got a couple of clients in those sills, and you've only got say 10 staff members that work at those sills,
Yeah.
you're going to find out real quick who gets really comfortable in doing their job
Yeah.
or not doing their job, and who goes in there and earns their keep.
Had this debate the other week that not every support worker is suitable for all skills. And the reason I
I 100% agree.
Yep. The reason why I say that is because we have skill sets and it's
Hmm.
skill sets, it's vibes, it's a multiple of things that happen. When
Mm,
somebody is not suitable for a seal, is it like I explain to people, sometimes it's not you, it's just the environment, it's the vibe, you're just not the right click. Is it I explain to people in the community, like, our support workers out there that there's always another fish in the sea, there's always another opportunity. Do you find that there's plenty of opportunities for work at Care differently?
absolutely. I mean, we've got we've got community access clients, we've got our still clients, and everyone's not the same. As you said, everyone's got this different skill sets, everyone's got different personalities, everyone's got a different tolerance and different patience,
Yeah.
and everyone's got different backgrounds. So whether you've come from SIL or you're new to SIL, the person that's come from SIL might not be the right fit for your SIL, although they might not be a right fit for 2 out of 3 SILs. But it's matching staff with the right client, which is huge, which is why we do meet and greets, which is why we do staff orientations and buddy shifts. But yeah, look, not everyone's cut out for SIL. Whether you go in there and think it's a cakewalk that you're going to sit on your phone on the lounge and watch Netflix for 8 hours, or whether you think you're going to go in there and, actively increase the independence of someone's life. That's what I want. I want someone that's going to go in there and actually work and change someone's life rather than someone that's going to go in there and change channels on
So
TV.
with support workers, if they were to work with Care done differently, they tried sales, it wasn't for
Mhm.
them. There's opportunities within the organization to try one-to-ones, to try different parts of it,
Absolutely.
because you don't really know where you fit until you try it and give it a go. Could you give any advice to support workers out there about giving it a go?
Look, support works like I've come out of aged care, and obviously my background is care up until as far back as I think I was 22 when I left bar work. But
Yeah.
support work, it could be for you, it could not be, but it's one of those sectors that you're not going to know until you try it, which is a lot of jobs. But this is why we have onboarding, because you're going to come in, you're going to do a couple of buddy shifts. If it's not for you, you're going to know quite well
Yeah.
or quite early on. And the people that we go on buddy shifts with, that we pair them on buddy shifts with, will report back to us and be like, hey,
Yeah.
look, this guy, he was good, but I don't think it's for him. And that's where we'll do probably 3 or 4 buddy shifts. And then we'll have a meeting with one of our managers. We'll go over, okay, how did you think it went? Do you think it's for you? What could you have done differently? And then we'll go from there,
Yeah.
and I think it's one of those, if you don't if you're not okay with community access, you might be good in SEAL. You might be, you might be great at overnights, or you might be good at, different aspects of our industry. So come and try it. You never know until you try.
Yeah. One of the great things I love about support work and nobody talks about is that age is nothing to me. Like when you, because
Mm.
you could be 18, you could be, I think one of the oldest people that I have ever had as a support worker was like in their 70s. Age is nothing.
Mhm.
It's about who turns up and who matches and whether there's a connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So in this sector, with your years of experience, what has work taught you about yourself?
A lot of things. I think one thing is to be resilient. If something doesn't work, don't give up on it. Just keep going with it. If it, give it a red hot shot before you go, okay, not working, let's try something else. I think for me, the biggest learning curve was, find the right fit. If something's not working, try something different. But I think as well, it's you got to back yourself. And I
Yeah.
think coming through, primary school, high school, into workforce, I bounced around from a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I found disability support work, but as a BDM, that I found my niche. I can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. I will keep a conversation going at all costs, but also I love to help people. And that's what all this is. That's what this industry is about. Finding that right care for the right person. And if I can't do it, I'm talking to somebody else who can.
That you were an ex-bartender. You've had a tough day at work. You've come home. What drink are you making?
I'm going straight for a Carlton Dry.
I
Like
thought you were going to make
I
something a bit
do.
exotic.
No, look, I do. On the off chance, I do love an espresso martini.
Yeah.
Again with a coffee.
I feel like you'd be
But
good at a Christmas
if I'm
party.
going, yeah, I don't. We had a Christmas party here last year, and espresso martinis were pretty deadly. But look, it's if I'm going for something way off shelf,
Yeah.
I do love a good old fashioned.
What would younger Jack be proud of if he could see himself now? The icebreaker.
Younger Jack would be proud that he didn't let the bullying define him.
Yeah.
I think through primary school, high school, I think the bullying was pretty dominant.
Yeah.
I was never the brightest kid, but I stuck it out at year 12, got my HSC. Music and football helped me a lot through high school. But going back to a question that I was asked, my report card used to always say the same thing. Jack doesn't shut up. And
Did
oh
we have
my
the same
God, that
teacher?
has come into look, every teacher up until to year 12 said the same thing. And it was either Jack doesn't shut up or Jack doesn't listen. I'm so glad that hasn't changed because now as a BDM,
Yeah.
it's come in handy that I don't shut up because communication is key. Whether
Yeah.
it's emails, phone calls, or face to
Yep.
face, it's something that's come in very handy.
School really doesn't teach you that, do they? Because I agree because
No,
I'm dyslexic as fuck, right? So that's the best way to describe myself, right? So so communication means that I do have to communicate. I would prefer to call somebody. I would prefer to see them than over email because I like hearing the tones. I love watching. Like, I feel
correct.
like it might be a part of it, but I look for body language. I don't know whether that's
Mhm.
working as a support worker or whether that's just because just communication. I'm not quite sure, but I get you. Like,
Mhm.
it does favor these skills that were frowned upon in school are now some of the best stuff that you've got.
Absolutely. Since I've been out of high school, I have not once used Pythagoras' bloody theorem, but I have used my voice every single damn day. And if I could go back now and say to the teacher
Yeah.
that kicked me out nearly every day that not shutting up is a good thing,
Yeah.
it'd be very different. Well,
I have a quote that I live by and I stand strong by. And the quote that I use for myself is shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't live there. Do you
mhm.
have a quote for yourself that keeps you motivated? It's really hard asking a
Look,
6 foot guy with tattoos and a beard whether he has a quote that he lives by. But I thought, why not
um,
ask the question?
look, I don't think it's a quote I live by. It's actually, well, it is a quote that I live by. But a few years ago, I saw a video that was, it was a bloke on stage accepting an award, and he said that people come into your life, they might be there for a lifetime, or they might be there for a season. People come and go from your life. They might. They might be there for a day, a season, or a lifetime, but they're like boosters on a rocket ship. They fall off at a certain altitude because they can't reach the heights that you're reaching.
Yeah.
So I look back at high school and I never had the biggest friend group. I was never the most
Yeah.
popular guy. I had a friend group that now are just connections on Instagram
Yeah.
that if we see each other in passing, we might say hi and have a small conversation. But I've kept in contact with probably 4 or 5 people
Yeah.
on a regular basis from high school or
Yeah.
through life, and they are my people. And people come into your life, then they come and go, and that's okay.
Yeah.
They just can't go where you're going.
All right. So from this, what I've learned in this sector, I have what I describe as business besties. They're people that have their own businesses and they're completely different to what I do and anything that but I call them my business besties because I can put out a question. I can ask for a favor. I might need a bit of help with something and they're just like onto it and they're spot on. Do you have business
Mhm.
besties yourself?
I
I don't
do.
know if you've got a better word for it.
I have a close um, probably 3 or 4 people that
Yeah.
I go to on a regular. And if I need something answered or I've got, you know, if I'm stuck on something and I need
Yeah.
advice, I've definitely got those 3 or 4 people that I go to on a regular.
It's now to be your business bestie. Do they have to turn up
Mhm.
to your coffee connections? Can they slide? Is there a way to slide into a DM, either Instagram or LinkedIn? How do they get in contact with you?
Look, to be my business bestie, you've just got to be authentic.
Yeah.
I vibe with people that vibe with me. As I said before, I'm a loud 6 foot bloke that stands out like dog's balls.
It'd be
And
like yin and
I
yang.
vibe with people. Yeah, I vibe with people that vibe with me. And I will name drop Jillian from Connect Community Respite Services, GG. Look, me and her are like joint at the hip.
Yeah.
I was only speaking to her this afternoon and I had to get off the phone and she's like, "Oh, look, call me on the way to Campbelltown tomorrow. We'll do our usual morning catch up." Awesome,
Yeah.
let's do that. Or it'll be Michelle Flynn from Arise. I talk to her a lot and we both lean on each other for advice. Or the other one, it's Ian Coker from Mabel Plus. We talk on Instagram or at events or, through WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and it's kind of that relationship that was, yes, it's professional,
Yeah.
but there's a difference between a professional and a kind of a personal friendship as well. So, but look, people can get in contact with me through LinkedIn, through Instagram. I'm always up for a chat. And it'll never be left on red, put it that way.
That's good. So, with everything that's going on in your world, Jack, what is
Mhm.
next? What's your big plans? What's happening next? Are you allowed to share it without getting into trouble from Hannah?
We'll put it into 2 parts.
Yeah.
For Caffeine Connections, it'll be our big fundraising event in October.
Yes.
So I wanted to have a night that kind of wrapped up our year because up until October, I think I counted there was something like 32 networking events that I would have hosted with a big vast array of people attending. So I wanted to have a night where everyone can come together in the one room, whether you're from Sydney, Wollongong, Shoalhaven, or elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a networking event. Well, not sorry,
Yeah.
no, scratch that. It's not going to be a networking event. It's going to be a
Yeah.
night where you leave business cards at home.
Yeah.
There's no dress code. It's come in, have a hoorah for the end of the year. Meet and talk with people that you've met at Caffeine Connections over the year and raise some much needed funds for Black Dog Institute. I've got 12 businesses that have or providers that have
Yeah.
donated items for our silent auction, which I only wanted 10 and at the end of it I got 12, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and everyone's been so generous with their donations as well. We've got raffles going on through the night. It's
Yeah.
just going to be a really laid back catch up.
So, will you be
There'll
working the
be
bar?
no, I will be drinking from the bar.
Your lineup is really
Yeah,
cool. Like I saw the people that are into the silent auction, and I was like,
mm,
"Oh wow, I don't know, like I don't want to name drop, but you got some really cool players."
yep,
Is this purely just from
yep,
networking with your coffee connections?
yep. This is
Kudos to
from
you.
networking in general.
Yep.
This is so Caffeine Connections is just through networking connections that I've made. It's incredible the strength of your network when you build a good one. And I think most of the people in this industry are caring, giving people.
Yeah.
So when I put the question out there to, like, I contacted
Yeah.
providers and certain people, but I think it really shows you who's here for the right reasons.
Yeah.
When you put a call out and, several people get back to you within, 24 hours, yep, this sounds amazing. Let's get in
Yeah.
on it. Let's do it.
Excellent. So to get to this event, pretty much is it through the website, through social media, directly to you? Which is the
So
best way?
I'm posting on LinkedIn almost weekly about this event. The tickets are through Humanitix for $35. It is the
Mm.
cheapest night you'll get out in Wollongong ever.
Yeah.
$35 is entry plus canapes on the night. And look, it's going to be one of those nights that people will talk about because the
Yeah.
people that have already brought tickets are some of the biggest personalities that are in this NDI space.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Is there anything that I've missed from this podcast that we need to discuss and you want to put it out there and tell the world?
No, look, this is amazing. I'm always here for collaboration. I'm always here
Yeah.
to network, connect, and help. This is
Yeah.
why I got into the industry, to help. So I think without tooting my own horn too much that I'm doing a pretty good job,
Well,
and
you've got
it's going
my
to continue because
attention.
I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Too easy. Thank you so much for joining the podcast tonight. Thank
No
you.
worries. Thank you so much for having me.